What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Ra. His name is Kimo. And if I turn off the view lock button and I click over on the right side of the map, you will in fact see ReDo playing as Oranos. In the blue color, the map is Oasis. It's currently 1-0 for Kimo, taking that first game very convincingly on the Anatolia. We're moving into game number 2 now. Some god switches here for both players, with Kimo going to his tried and true Ra, and ReDo taking that Oranos out. We've seen Oranos quite a bit on this map, on Oasis. It feels like the common consensus is that Oranos is pretty strong on Oasis, yeah? Guys, I think maybe we can agree, or maybe we can agree that Oranos is good on Oasis. But then what about that Odin that could be used? I've seen Odin have some success here. I've also seen what did I say? Some Zeus have some success. There's some pretty strong gods on this map. Ra, also a very strong god on Oasis, can abuse those farms quite nicely. The biggest issue on this map for every single civilization, though, is going to be these second gold mines. And honestly, if I'm honest here, this gold mine is the best gold mine you can possibly hope for Oasis. Town center here, gold mine here, wall here, and we are good to go. You want to double town center this one early if you can get it up fast enough. So you want to go for, like, if you can go for like a 4-minute advance. I'm not sure if it's possible with only 2 zebra. I think it's not possible with 2 zebra, but you know, I don't know these trendy Egyptian modern build orders. But you know, if you can get there fast, get this town center up, you'll be in a good spot. You also use that shifting sands to kill off those early Oracle heroes if the Oranos player decides to go for a 4-minute advance time themselves. What is happening here? That was a weird. I don't even know. I'm just gonna look over here now. ReDo throwing down the temple, so he's actually a little bit concerned about what looks to be a potential villager rush that Kimo could pull on him. I don't think that, even with all of these buildings, I don't think that this is enough to stop a villager rush. You've still got a very large amount of surface area that these villagers can get onto. With the shockwave to push them off, there's going to be a rain to deny it. But with the shockwave as well, you can sneak some villagers in there to block some of that surface area. But this is just to say, don't do it. Okay, just don't do it. That's what it looks like. So we'll see. We've got the villagers already up on this giraffe over here, and Kimo trying to spam out golds here. You can see is really wanting to get that 100 gold to get the temple up, and the priest is patrolling, and now he's empowering. That's interesting. He's going to be dumping the villagers in and then throwing up a temple. No. Yep, there it is. There's the temple. Kimo's actually looking like he's going a little bit late to the next stage, so he may not be able to get this town center up because ReDo was already clicked up 35%. This is a 4-minute build order from ReDo, very, very standard. Actually going for 3 villagers on wood here. Normally we see 2 villagers on wood, 2 villagers on gold, 2 villagers on food, whereas ReDo's doing the 3 villagers on wood early. I'm not sure what the difference is or why he does this, but this obviously will allow him to get out some more wood-based buildings early and maybe something else, but he will be short on gold for things like Terma, Prometheans that he probably doesn't want to build, and all of those things. Now we do see the oracles look like they're returning home, or even going to be pushing onto this giraffe here, but the giraffe are actually almost expired. The Valor could have came in and prevented him from eating this, but it looks like he's just returning home. There is a relic. We've got the Osberg wagon here. This is a big relic for all of the people. Every single one. There's the double counter barracks here from ReDo. I've said this before, but against Egyptians, I'm a fan of going 1 counter barracks instead of the 2. You can check out his resources here. ReDo is very low on resources across the board. Obviously, he can afford to build both of these, but if he just built 1 counter barracks, he would be able to get his second town center out earlier and still put on the pressure that he wants to put on. Here's the Oracle heroes coming in. They're going to try and surround that Pharaoh. Not going for it just yet. We do see that Kimo's going to be retreating away. He's going through Ptah. We do see the walls are up everywhere. Nice and far away from the gold mine so that those the range from the term are not going to hit him too badly. And the Pharaoh may actually get sniped here if the units can surround him, but it looks like they're not going for, or now they're going for it, but the Pharaoh may be able to sneak into that sentry tower, which he does manage to do, but it's going to be a little bit hard to get him out, as we will notice he may have to delete a house here. That feels bad, but it will be happening. More of these Terma coming in. You can see how, see, he's actually idle Terma here. Idle Terma. One counter barracks is the way to go, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see it tried. One day someone will do it. Because right now, these Terma do nothing. At this point, now that the food is being pushed in, everything's been blocked, the Ra player is going to be sitting in his base, the Terma do nothing. We do see a wall up here. This is going to be the box for Kimo. This is a very bizarre box, though. It's a very expensive box. If anybody's seen what you can do with the box here, what's this? 1, 2 of these wall segments. If we can throw up or big long walls, you could throw up one here, one across here, and then finish it off with a house. And it would be a very cheap box. If people are going to build boxes, think about using your other buildings that are free, like your houses, to build them. They're very big brain indeed. And now we're seeing this wall is just like really perfect placement here by Kimo, because these are only 12 range Terma. They're not going to be able to take down this wall very fast. We do see a shockwave here is going to bring these villages over. That is hilarious. Really nice usage of the shockwave there. And that's going to be it's going to be a dead villager. If he does manage to snipe it, the Wadjet will be able to pick off a Terma. No, the Terma dodges the spit. The venomous spit has been dodged. And now Kimo's sitting in his base on one town center. He's got pickaxe, he's got husbandry, he doesn't have Shadoof. There's the Shadoof coming through here, so he's going to have to rain on one town center here. And there's the second town center going up for ReDo here. And you can see, what is he on now? He's on 62 population, town center going up. And, I mean, it's going to be a tough spot for Kimo, because he's going to spend all of these resources on farms. He is trying out the armory though, so this is something that Kimo loves to do in these matchups. It's to get to the heroic age and then throw a market down, so he doesn't have to come out onto this gold mine too early. And if he can do that, he trades wood and food for gold, and he just spams out those units. We do see some more villagers coming over here onto this, and that's what we call a shifting sands right there. That is 9 Terma here getting pushed into this location, and Kimo going to be attempting to take down this watchtower. Or not Kimo, ReDo taking down the watchtower with his Terma, and the Wadjet here with the 18 range can just sit behind the wall and snipe everything else off. This is an incredibly smart play in hindsight, but it did cost him a lot of resources to build this wall. But that's a lot of Terma pickoffs, and that's going to hurt ReDo quite a bit, who looks like he's probably going to be able to advance to the next stage very soon. Look, he's almost at the resources he needs to advance. He's got he's clicked up to the heroic age, hasn't had to build farms yet, so he's going to have a lot of food that he can trade for gold if he needs to. With the rain, he's going to have 12 farms coming out very fast. And there's the skin of the rhino coming through as well for Kimo, so he doesn't lose too many units. All of those Terma over here are getting sniped. But not before the Terma gets some nice damage done on that Wadjet there. The Wadjet does have a regeneration special ability, which I'm pretty sure very few people do realize that, but the Wadjet will heal himself back up at 1 HP a second, which is quite a bit, to be honest. It's quite a bit. Seeing Kimo trying to heal those villagers back up that were getting sniped. Now the wall is going to be broken down here, and the Terma are going to be able to finally start moving in and hitting these villagers off of the gold mine. ReDo's town center has been finished now, and he's onto the berries. But Kimo is in such a commanding position. He's got the skin of the rhino out now, so those villagers are going to be able to pick off these Terma, like hoplites pick off Terma, except without the extra bonus damage. But they have 8.8, so it's basically like they're having the bonus damage anyways already. So base hoplites with full iron upgrades is essentially what these villages are. But they are getting sniped quite nicely here by ReDo, who's really punishing Kimo for not building any units at all. And he has thrown down the farms now. We do see the rocks out with the Patsukos, so Kimo can start doing some rock raiding here. It's not the best against Atlantean because they can get one hero Terma to snipe the rock, and it shuts everything down. And there is the Migdol Stronghold going up for Kimo. He's still got 1,000 gold left in this gold mine. But the big thing is that ReDo's got no answer to cavalry. He has got no catapulties. He's probably trying to get to the next stage here. If I'm honest, he's going to be wanting to not build catapulties, get Hyperion, and he's still moving in, trying to pick off more of these villages. And he's going to be getting some of them, but at what cost? You lose a lot of resources in these terms. They cost 95 resources total. So losing them for one villager, probably worth it, but you don't want to lose more than one for one villager. That's looking like it begins to become not the best of trades at all, but that's what's happening. We see a third town center here for ReDo, so I told a complete lie. ReDo does not care about the next stage at all, so he's throwing out another counter barracks, and he's going to start making some catapulties. Okay, so he realizes that the unit composition that Kimo is probably going to be going for here is going to be mostly cavalry, going to be mostly cavalry chariot archer, so he can just get away with basically just going for the Migdol unit or the counter barracks units. But if Kimo does throw down a barracks or something like that and start making out some spearmen, then things become a little bit different, or even some axemen as well. He's not going to be doing it just yet, as catapulties are coming in. And what is coming out of all these buildings looks like it's not that much. The farms are out for ReDo, and he's got no plow just yet. And the rock getting pushed back here. Would have liked to have used his locust on those farms beforehand, and he will be moving over here, seeing that these villagers are putting this town set up. There's nothing in the rock. As the cavalry are coming over though, they may be able to hit this before the mana comes up, but I think with Alt S, he's not going to be able to get a villager pick off, but he will be able to delay this town center quite considerably. These terms are getting pushed back, even with this catapulti here. If he turns around and fights this with two catapultis, he will be able to pick off these cavalry very, very easily. These are the strongest counter cavalry unit in the game here, but it looks like he's opting to just leave it as the Pharaoh's coming in, waiting for a couple more of the catapultis to come in first. There he goes, turning around, going to be picking off these guys. Needs to get the hero units onto those Wadjet. See two Wadjet out, the cavalry onto this location over here, as the town center is still trying to get up. There is a Patsukos over there. Locust coming onto this location. Nice garrison there from ReDo. Going to be, oh, but he pops it out for some reason, and it does end up dying. So Kimo does get a little bit of value out of that one, but ReDo will get the town center up. Well, it's getting very close here. That locust is tracking that villager down. The town center is up. More cavalry coming over onto that location. They won't be able to find too much. He may be able to hit this raid over here as well. And that's going to be interesting as the cavalry running straight past these units. One of the big weaknesses of the catapulti is the 4.95 speed. Obviously with Oranos it's 4.95, and with everyone else's 4.5, but they're not able to chase the cavalry or the cavalry down with 6.6 speed because they are raw cavalry. They're just not able to chase them down. So you can go raiding very, very protectively there. And there's a second town center coming up for Kimo. Third town center is well coming up for Kimo as this is happening. And now the catapultis with the Terma coming onto this location. This is going to be a difficult situation for Kimo to be in. He's trying to go after those myth units there. He's made a bunch of those Terma heroes, sniping the Wadjet in the back. The cavalry coming in to get a surround though, and that's going to force ReDo out of here. Really nice surround there. Meanwhile, we do see a rock over here does get picked off. I'm not sure how that happened there. There's no units. Oh, the town center must have sniped it. And the villagers going into the gold or into the mana there before ReDo's retreating yet again. He wins. I'm pretty sure with any decent micro here, he wins this fight. While there is a Wadjet, you can snipe that with those 4 Terma and get the rest of the Terma onto the chariot archers and be totally fine. There's a town center up now for Kimo. Throwing down more farms over on this location. Kimo's got to be happy about the situation he's in right now. However, the big problem is going to be not the second gold mine, But the third gold mine, it's in a weird place. Every single one of these are in a very weird place for Kimo, and they're very open, very hard to get strong surrounds or anything like that on those locations, and very hard to sneak the gold mines as well, if that's something that ReDo's playing towards. And I can guarantee you that ReDo's going to be hitting the heroic age by the time this gold mine is out. So he's going to have to deal with having Chaos, which is going to steal one of these units. That's probably why Kimo's throwing in some Wadgets, trying to sway the tides there on the myth units, stealing the Patsukos or something like that. But we'll see what happens. And ReDo's still trying to push in, still not advancing to the next stage. We do see these cavalry doing some damage, and Kimo is now, ReDo is now grabbed the medium infantry upgrades here. We check this out. We've got Heart of the Titans for ReDo's Shaft Mine coming through, so we can get some of those upgrades. We do see a Shockwave coming down as he's trying to snipe the Patsukos. The Catapult is doing so much damage to these cavalry right here, and it's looking like the army of Kimo is just getting completely melted because he has no Axemen in his army. This is Egyptian versus Oranos 101. Get Axemen in your army to deal with the infantry. You cannot just go for Migdol only armies against Oranos, but it's looking like the mercenary are coming out here, and these mercenary are some tough kids with their crazy amounts of armor and HP and damage. Gonna force ReDo out, but he can just leave this now and have, what is this, 90 gold apiece units just dying to the timer. They're going to chase them out before before retreating, I guess. But whenever your opponent makes out a bunch of mercenary and you've won a fight, you just retreat, let them die, go back in and hit them again. And do we see the barracks up? We do see a barracks finally coming for Kimo as he's deciding that it's going to be worthwhile. Now we've got Mermillo coming through as well. We don't have any technologies getting grabbed. We've got ReDo getting very close to the next stage. He does need to get some more gold though. And if we check out his resource, his economy, he's got Shaft Mine, so he's getting a lot of that gold very, very fast. Now there's a siege works for Kimo, and this is exactly what ReDo's going to want. He's going to want to force Kimo to stay in the heroic age, prevent Kimo from getting enough units prevent Kimo from getting to the Mythic Age to get some stars, force Kimo to keep producing units to defend, and then wait for this gold mine to expire by doing this. So he can make some efficient trades by coming in. He doesn't have a shockwave though. We do see that there is a raiding party coming out to hit this gold mine over here yet again, as this has been the location that Kimo wants to hit for the entirety of this game. We're going to have to send some of these units over there. Catapulti, Mermillo, plus those Terma to deal with it. He should be able to easily defeat that raid there. And now we've got Thea coming in. So no Hyperion. Interesting decision. Not sure what that's about though. Maybe thinking about Titan Gate. The only real reason I think to go Thea over Hyperion in this matchup is you're planning on a Titan at some point in this game, and you don't want it to get picked off by the tornado. So you throw down a Hesperus tree in your base, you put the Titan Gate next to it when you research it, and then you put the Hesperus tree next to it as well. It's a big enough God power block that you're never gonna lose that to a God power. And there's the Thea. We'll see if that's what ReDo is planning. The reason why nothing else really makes sense is maybe the Dryads help out a bit, but when the Son of Osiris is out, those Dryads die instantly to the Son of Osiris, and the cavalry upgrades don't come in very important at all. You don't normally go Contarius in this matchup. Maybe you do though, if I'm just thinking out loud, if there are lots of Axemen going Contarius, but there's no Axemen being built here. So that's some stuff. That's some stuff indeed. And we'll see. We'll still go on these raids from this gold mine. There's plenty of other villagers out. There's the Dryads coming out, the Hesperus tree, and now Kimo's had some time here. Kimo's had some time, and he's going through Osiris. We've got Helios coming for ReDo as well, and Helios, while I actually think it is probably the better god to go in the vast majority of cases, and the meta has been going Hecate for so long, I don't think that this is going to be one of those cases where Helios is a big pickup over the Hecate, because with the mummy coming out, that's going to kill your big siege myth units very, very fast, as if you're making Colossus, and and it's going to be a tough one. We'll see if it works out for him. If he can drag the units over one side and then teleport over the other side, it's going to be really, really good. And we do see ReDo going for those more style sky passages here. This is, I tell a lie, this isn't how Moore does it. Moore hides his sky passage up here. You never show your opponent where the sky passage is. A very expensive building at 350 resources. There is the mummy coming out. There's the Son of Osiris over here as well. And the villagers chasing these down. We do see some Arcus coming out, heavy Arcus, and the medium Miller here as well, going to be able to pick off these units here as the villagers trying to chase that citizen down. Helios comes through for ReDo now. He can teleport over onto this location with his Helios. He is sitting at 160 160 population to 130 population at this point. He wants to snipe that mummy though first, so he doesn't have to have his Hecagigantes get picked off there. And this is actually huge here to snipe this mummy, because that Hecagigantes is going to be able to pummel that Son of Osiris into the army of ReDo here, and maybe able to snipe it as well. There's a Siege Works coming up for Kimo. This spot here looks like it's going to be very difficult to be pushed off here. Now, but he is going for that Vortex, sitting right in the middle of the Son of Osiris here, is just trying to retreat away from this location here, and the Son of Osiris may simply just die here. There's no way away from it, and we do see the Hecagigantes spreading out this army quite nicely. The Dryads getting instantly picked off by the Son of Osiris. Hecagigantes coming over here to start bashing away at the Son of Osiris, which is getting targeted down by those Terma here. The Terma do not do that much damage, but they are fast enough to chase him down. And we see the Hecagigantes actually helping the Son of Osiris there to escape. And now it's looking like that's not what you want to be seeing. And Kimo actually able to do a nice defense of this position. At this point, we do see some Axum coming out here. The Son of Osiris still getting chased down. Very low HP, 206 HP to be exact here. And it's looking like he's able to escape from that location, but he is out of gold. He's got no trade route started. Or actually, I tell a lie, he does have a trade route started, but it's very, very basic. 40 gold with a Pharaoh empowering it. And we do see these Terma and the Stymphalian Bird chasing Son of Osiris down, and the Son of Osiris tries to turn around to get some return fire, but cannot get it off just yet. And there's another Vortex to return around onto this side with the Fire Siphon pumping out here, keeping Kimo on the back foot. The Siege Tower here will get sniped. There's 2 Fire Siphon already in here, plus the 2 Hecagigantes. With the army completely out of position, this town center may just die. We've got Sun-Dried Mudbrick, Masons, and Fortified Town Centers onto this town center right here. There's no Priest or Fair to empower this one, so it may just go down even with all of these villages empowering the town center. This is maybe too much for Kimo to handle. He is pumping out those mercenary. He needs to make out mercenary infantry. These take 3 seconds to train. Mercenary infantry take 1 second to train, and it will possibly do better against this army as well. But Son of Osiris gets over here at this point. The town center has fallen, and it looks like ReDo is going to be in a commanding position to take this game. The Hecagigantes, or sorry, the Shockwave comes in to separate the chariots away from that Son of Osiris. He's getting even closer to his demise, sitting at 30 HP now. There is a Murmillo chasing him down, 22 HP, 16 HP, 10 HP, 4 HP, still alive though with 4 HP, gets off. He's going to try and get off as many shots here as he possibly can, and the Son of Osiris does get picked off there, and ReDo going to be pushing forward with the powers here to secure this one. Remember, you don't need to get the town center up instantly, you just need to make sure your opponent can't get it up. So palaces, towers around this location, feeling good about yourself. We got a palace up on this location. Would have liked to see that sky passage here. Did he put one down the bottom? He hasn't. He hasn't put one down the bottom. There is a mummy out. It hasn't turned around though. I could have picked up a Hecagigantes. These units are expensive. 300 gold, 25 favor. They are basically They are basically just a weak version of the Colossus. And now ReDo is grabbing that Secret of the Titans that we were talking about before. So he's not slowing down onto Kimo at all. Not going to give him a shot at all. Villager coming out onto this location. He's got 4 HP, not sure what he's going to be doing there. Now the Vortex up onto this top spot here, going for this town center now that the palace is up. Now some watchtowers coming up for ReDo as well, as he is trying to secure this location without having to invest population into it. I love it. And now he's after the town center. Again, Kimo going for the mercenary cavalry, and this is the gold situation. Going to be a problem for Kimo now as well if he loses this town center. He does have 800 gold in the bank though, but he's investing it all into mercenary cavalry, which are just not going to be able to take out this army very fast at all, especially with the catapulties here to help out to pick off those mercenary cavalry. The villagers trying to repair this town center. That fire siphon does get sniped there by the mercenary cavalry. There still is one Heca Giganti here, plus the destroyers, plus the fire siphon, so more than enough to take down this town center. And it's looking like Kimo's sitting at 1 town center now to ReDo's 3 town centers, going on 4 town centers fairly soon, as he's throwing down another palace over here, not overcommitting to the town center, just completely securing it. I love that play, and he can just send everything up to this top town center and keep Kimo at bay, who is now sitting at 120 population. However, he's got a lot of resources in the bank. Let's check out the army upgrades. He's got full copper upgrades he can start working on, but ReDo has got nearly full iron upgrades. There's ReDo's Titan Gate getting finished, and Kimo taps out. GG, well played by ReDo. Incredibly good play by him. Kimo not able to compete with the Oranos here. Looks like the early pressure that didn't feel like it did too much was enough to slow Kimo down, and then beyond that, Kimo just could not deal with that Vortex shenanigans going over here. He managed to catch that Son of Osiris out, half HP'd him basically instantly, and then following that, he was able to move from this location down to the bottom one and take the town center out, and that was enough to keep Kimo down and out. Even with all of the economy, he just could not stay in this game, and ReDo takes it, leveling the series 1-1. We'll move on to game number 3 very shortly. If you are enjoying these games, please consider hitting the follow button on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.